Crafted and Creative, a podcast meant to uplift and engage BIPOC creatives who are on their journey of making a social impact and creating a lasting legacy, as well as create community and a sense of guidance for those that are looking to do the same through their artistry. Today's guest is Jeremiah Craft. He's an NYC based actor and musician known for his work on Marvel's Luke Cage as D.W. Griffith, The Last OG, Wu-Tang, and American Saga, Bill and Ted Face the Music, and most recently as Lil Stinka on Girls 5 Eva, which is now streaming on Netflix and Peacock. Jeremiah's commitment extends beyond the screen, as evidenced by his generous contributions to various charitable initiatives, among them the vital work of stem cell transference. Thank you so much, Jeremiah, for joining me on my podcast.
Thank you. You made me sound a lot more important than I am. But hey.
Look, you are. You got those credits.
Hey, man. I got a couple. I wouldn't they were enough, darling.
No, you got it. You got it. I'm so grateful for you because I remember seeing you on Luke Cage and being impressed by your work on there and like seeing how dedicated you are to like that mythical world of like Marvel cinema, you know?
Yeah, it is definitely a mythical world. Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, so tell me, how did you get started in acting and getting into this industry?
Well, in the beginning, God created the world.
Okay, take us through.
It's just such a long story, man. I always make that joke. I mean, man, so I started acting when I think I was 8 years old, and I got a little part in Annie Get Your Gun as a little messenger boy. Way back then. It was called Nord Theater. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, and we had Nord Theater. I believe it's now called Crescent City Lights, but it used to be Nord Theater. And I got that small taste, and I kind of just never stopped from that point. And I was able to kind of fast forward when I got a lot older. When I got a lot older, I took it even more seriously, and I was able to go ahead and get myself some representation when I got to college. So I've been doing it since then. I'm still doing it. The game has changed. The player is not.
Hey. So wait, did you do it in college or was it just?
Oh, yeah. Most of my important credits were while I was studying, yeah.
Wow, okay. When did you know you wanted it to be a career? Was it going into college like you knew, like, okay, this is what I want to make money off of?
Way before that. Yeah, even before Annie Get Your Gun, I knew. I mean, I must have been 5 or 6. And my dad was still with us and at the time, and we were in the kitchen, and we used to have a tiny little tube television in the kitchen. I'm dating myself now. We had a tiny little tube television in the kitchen, and The Fresh Prince was on, and my mom was making something. She was cooking something, and then I just said, Mom, what is that? Oh, that's a TV show, honey. It's the Fresh Prince. And I said, Mama, who is that? And said, that's Will Smith, honey. Mama, what he do? He's an actor. Okay, I'm gonna do that. and that literally, I just liked the way that girls liked him. I liked that he was popular and he was doing something that looked cool. And since then, 5 all the way up to now, still doing it. So I've been an actor for over 20 years. I've been a professional for almost 15. Yeah. So
I feel like most black actors, like those 90s sitcoms, I feel like most of us can relate to watching Fresh Prince and like Jamie Foxx and Martin Lawrence and wanting to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, but that's when black TV was at its height.
Right.
We had so many great shows that it felt like, oh, I can do that. I can do this. I can do because look at that representation.
That's right.
But then black people slowly started to disappear from TV for a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other conversation.
It is a whole nother conversation.
Well, I want to get into also, you have family that is also in the industry. Do you feel like watching that and seeing your aunt on TV, do you feel like that kind of played a factor as well, or was it just something you came to on your own?
I think that, the thing with me is so my family is in TV, but I'm the only actor.
Mm-hmm.
So there isn't another actor that came before me at least that decided to pursue acting. It was really just television, and really the television stuff came because I come from a family of public speakers, and my grandmother was affiliated with the civil rights movement and stuff like that. And grandfather was a Tuskegee Airman, was one of the first black pilots. And so, with that being passed down, I think the public speaking aspect kind of shifted into, a media kind of presence for both my mother and my aunt. While their sister went into business, and she has her own store, and that's what she wanted to do. The other two, Uncle Butch played sports, and then Aunt Robin and my mom, they went into the media. And I think for me, me with my ADHD brain as a kid, I just wanted to do anything and everything that I saw that I thought was cool. Any day of the week you asked me what I wanted to do, I would have given you a different answer. I always wanted to be a superhero, and I feel like growing up now I still want to be a superhero. Now I want to play one.
Yeah, to characters.
Yeah.
I was the same way as a kid. Every week, my dad used to pick me up from after school, and he'd be like, "What do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I would just be like, "A vegetarian."
Yeah.
An astronaut.
You want to be a vegetarian?
Yes.
Wow.
Anything.
Your priorities are fantastic as a child.
That did not work out as an adult, but you couldn't tell me as a child.
That's the greatest answer to that question.
I was like,
heard.
anything.
I would like to be a vegetarian when I grow up.
Listen,
That's
I think
fantastic.
at the time I meant veterinarian, but that was. As a kid, you say stuff. I don't care. Everything was a career.
That's even better.
So what brought you to the East Coast from?
Well, I feel like, at the time, it's a little bit less so now, as we can see. I think at the time, it really was New York or L.A. I mean, you want to be an actor and you want to take it seriously. I mean, at the time, it was like, if you're not in one of those two places, you're not giving yourself the best chance. Now you can kind of take from anywhere in the country and stuff like that. But I think, and it's still somewhat that way. It's still, number one and number two in terms of our industry. But, at the time, it was especially like, and even your teachers would say, you want to take this seriously, New York or L.A. I had family in New York. I chose New York.
Okay.
That was really it. L.A. seemed especially far away, and then you need a car, and New York you didn't need a car, and I had family, and it was a little bit closer. Let's just
worked out. So when you moved here, was your sight set on
Absolutely.
TV, or was it theater? Was it?
Oh no, I was so sick of stage, man. No, I was so sick of stage. I mean, like, I actually have I would call severe ADHD. It's why I never stop moving and why I'm so animated and stuff like that. And so, like, stage, I think, really does, like, test your worth as an actor. It really is the Olympics of acting, but it's also the least forgiving of all the types to act, because, really all you got to do is go up there and say, Google Smetch, and now the whole thing's ruined.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't matter what you do, and that's just it, right? And so you really can't mess up, and if you do, you got to be dang good at covering it up. And so I just felt like that was a little bit less forgiving. I love TV because you can do it again. You look at your sides in between takes. Now you have other problems because then you have rewrites and then you have other stuff.
Yeah.
And I certainly will return to the stage at one point from whence I came. I think right now still focused on TV and film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it started working out for you.
Yeah, it did. For a while it did. Yeah. I had to for a while it did.
I mean, well, take me back to that first big booking for you. What would you classify? You've done a good amount of work right now.
Yeah.
So what would you say was your first big booking?
Okay. Well, that was Law and Order SVU. And I think that was a lot of our first role. I mean, at SVU, like, gives a lot of us work. You know why? Because everybody commits crime. That's why.
Yeah.
Everyone does bad things, and so they need everybody. And so, yeah, I refer to it as my cheese sandwich story because I happened to get connected with my initial representation over a cheese sandwich with a girl I'd never met that I was trying to talk to at the time.
Right.
Yeah. And I never really talked to her again after that. It was just that one time. It was like an angel thing. But
So wait, she introduced you to?
she did.
Okay.
Yeah. So like it was when I got to college, I always thought to myself like, oh man, I'm sure I'm gonna be like 40 years old by the time I can get an agent and join SAG and do all that stuff. I was like, all right, let me just do this thing here. I thought going to school for drama, even though everyone tells you not to, it's a useless degree and all that stuff. Well, there's a lot of actors. There's got to be a chance I can meet an agent. And so my first week at the new school, I met this girl in orientation week. I thought she was cute. I wanted an excuse to talk to her, and she had ordered a cheese sandwich. And she sat down, and I walked right up, and it was absolutely ridiculous. I was just like, "Oh, you got a cheese sandwich? I like cheese sandwiches. You wear shoes, I wear shoes. Hey, what's going on?" I did make her laugh, and we started talking, and she eventually let me know that she had representation, and she was able to do, I think she had done a Pepto-Bismol commercial that ended up making her some cash and stuff like that. And she was like, "Oh, do you have an agent?" No!
Yeah.
No, I don't have an agent. I just got to school, blah, blah, blah. And so, right then and there, gave me the information. I think I said agent. I meant manager. It was a manager, and my manager sent me to my agent. But that's kind of how I met my manager. And, I had to go and audition for her. Didn't hear from her for, I think, like 2 months or something like that. And the day after 2 months passed, you called Jeremiah, Law and Order SVU. They want to see you tomorrow. Can you do it? Yes or no?
Wow.
And it was the most Hollywood thing ever. And she's got this accent. She talks really fast. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
And then, yeah, it became Law and Order SVU.
That was
I met
your first?
Mariska Hargitay. I did book it, which was cool. It was an under 5. And Danny Pino and Mariska Hargitay. I did have to shoot up a house and be a gangbanger, which I didn't love that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I think, I was able to step over that, and I just was able to continue to work.
Yeah, you've worked with some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
I mean, currently on the show Girls 5 Ever, you've worked with Renee Elise Goldsberry,
She's
who's from
wonderful.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Come on.
Yep.
Sarah Bareilles.
Oh,
That's my
God.
girl.
Oh,
Listen,
my
she's
God.
got some hits. You've worked with Alfred Woodard and Mahershala Ali and like
Mahershala I did not get to work with. I did work with Alfred. Mahershala was on Luke Cage, but I didn't have any scenes
didn't
with
have
him,
any
unfortunately. Yeah,
scenes?
no. We were
Okay.
never on set the same day, but God, I wish I was. I wish I could have been there the day that, it's a spoiler for people who hasn't seen Luke Cage. It's been a long time. It's been 10 years. You should have seen it already.
Listen, go watch it. It's on
Right.
Disney Plus.
But I wish I could have been on set the day when he throws the guy off of the the edge of the
He was
Hall
cold
of
in that.
Paradise.
He was cold.
Yeah, literally, he's just talking to this guy. He just says something makes him mad. He just throws him off the roof. I wish
Iconic.
I was there for that, but no, I didn't get to work with Mahershala. I did get to work with Alfre. She's amazing. She was just like an on-set mom kind of, and just old school and knowing the business. And Sarah Bareilles is I was able to get industry advice from her and just pointers from her, and she took me under her wing. I remember one of the first times we worked together on Girls 5 in the first season, she said, "Jeremiah, come here." And I went over there and said, "You see that? That's Tina Fey's chair. You want to sit in Tina Fey's chair?" And I went over, yeah. And then I still have it. It's somewhere in my phone of me taking a picture in Tina Fey's chair.
Wow.
Like this. And Sarah Bareilles has photo cred for taking that picture.
I love that. She's so
she's
kind.
amazing,
I
man.
met her once when Waitress was on Broadway, had just reopened during the pandemic in 2020. And at the time, there like theaters where everybody was trying to figure out how to reopen Broadway. And there was this new job, a COVID safety monitor. And at the time, I had just finished graduate school. I'm like, I need money. I will take whatever is available. So I got this job as this COVID manager. And I remember sitting in the audience every night being in awe of her voice, her work ethic. And she was always so grateful. Every time the show ended, she would come and like place her hand on the show and just on my shoulder and say, thank you so much for your work, because I like during that time people didn't know about COVID or didn't understand it, and my job as a COVID manager was to like make sure everyone was tested, everyone was vaccinated, everyone was wearing their mask in the theater. And you know, some people had mixed reviews about that, mixed feelings, and didn't want to do it or felt like, oh, well, this is a conspiracy. And so I would get yelled at. It really became a thankless job. And so for her to take a moment out of her day, you know, she's tired after the show, I'm sure, and to just take those moments to like thank me. You know, for me, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I don't know about COVID. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a health professional. I'm a theater kid. What do I know about COVID? And for her to say thank you for protecting me and for
sounds like something she would do.
Yeah, letting me perform and making sure that the actors are safe. So
that's one
love
of your,
her down.
Yeah,
love her down.
That's one of your idols you do want to meet. 100%. That sounds exactly like something she would do, and it sounds similar to things she already has done. Yes, indeed. Yep.
So working around these heavy hitters on set, did you ever feel like there were moments that you almost psyched yourself out of it? You know, when you have such big blessings or such big opportunities, how did you deal with that? How did you show up grounded and ready to work and not let yourself be psyched out?
Oh, man. I think, you know, I was just so happy to be there at all. I think that's so much of it. I mean, this industry, I know, like, the pretty thing to do is to talk about, like, the work and, like, getting into the character and what's my motivation and all that. But, like, the real deal when you get into this industry, man, is, like, the acting is the easiest part. Getting to act is the hard part, you know, getting the agent, getting there, getting on set, you know, being seen, you know, that's the hard part. I feel like if you get there and you get on set and you're having like small time actor problems, and by that I mean like, oh, what am I supposed to do here? What is blocking and what's my then we're too green. You know, I think that's the only thing I would say about that. I mean, if you're prepared enough, once you get to act, that should be the party, man. Like, you know, you should be having the time of your life up there, and that should be that on that. Anything else, I feel like, is ill preparedness. You just need to know what you're doing so that when you get there, you can enjoy it and not think about it.
I want to switch gears over to balancing working a 9-to-5 on top of acting. How do you feel like you navigate like having to do that? Do you feel like you have to wear two hats?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's a thing we all have to do. If you ask any actor worth their salt, it is paramount. Like, it's just something that has to be done. It's something you have to do. I always tell everybody, you really have two responsibilities. Your first responsibility is to feed your body. You need to feed your body. You need to eat so that you can stay alive and so that you can be here. Following the dream is something everyone should do, but it is a privilege. In order to follow your dream, your belly has to be full or at least not starving, you know? And so following the dream really is a privilege. And not enough, you know, people know this, but like people see stuff I've done, and obviously I consider myself a Hollywood commoner. You know, I'm not some A-list star. I've done some things. I also had a mom that could afford to pay my rent for years while I auditioned in New York. You know,
a blessing.
So it was still me that booked the job. I still needed to get there. I needed to be a good enough actor to book the job and do what I need to do, but it wasn't all me. So that's very, very important. The second thing is you feed your body, you got to feed your soul also. If you don't feed your body die. If you don't feed your soul die.
So it's a necessary
So
evil in
I
some
think
ways.
you need to do both.
Yeah.
I think because if you only do one, one or the other, you're just going to end up miserable. Like if you don't feed your body, you're going to end up miserable. Your health is going to be jacked up. Blah, 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 blah. That really should be the first priority. But the second priority right after that, you need to do something to feed your soul. And whether that's like, if you want to be a painter, you should be painting something every day. If you want to be an actor, you should be watching other people, studying their success, doing some small action in service to that. Because, in my book, the only way you fail is if you quit. If you quit, you're a failure. But if you don't, you ran out of time, but did you fail? I think, who was it that said, it was Seth Rogen, said something I thought was so intelligent. He said, if you don't quit, you might make it. And if you quit, you definitely won't.
That's true. That's true. You have to keep
why
going
not try?
throughout it all.
So, yeah, man, I have done the thing, man. I haven't gotten to the mountaintop. I've seen the mountaintop.
But how do you navigate when you're in a 9-to-5 and you're trying to audition? How do you, are there times when you're at work and you're getting audition tapes and like,
oh, yes.
How do you push through that? What?
I have lost jobs over it before. Oh, man, I've been booking for, I like to say 15 years. I'm rounding up. I think it's like 12 years or something like that. And like in that 12-year span, I'm trying to think of like all the like day jobs that I have. I've said so many. I've walked dogs. I've waited tables. I'm trying to think, being a teacher is one of the most fruitful. I scooped ice cream, I've done so many day jobs. There have been times where I would go on the red carpet and people, Jeremiah, and then I have to the next day walk in, Mr. Kraft.
Listen, I've been there.
Why do I have this grade on my test? You didn't study, and here it is, blah, blah, blah. So I was Jeremiah and also Mr. Kraft. So it's just like you got to quiet the ego, keep your eyes on the prize, and do what needs doing. That's
how do
just
you
about
navigate when you're in work environments where you're earning money that's not from your acting and people are recognizing you?
Oh,
how
that's
do you,
the other thing.
How do you deal with that when people view you in a certain light? They're used to seeing you on TV, but yet they see you also working this 9-to-5. How do you grapple with that?
Well, like mass education, you know what I mean? We just need to dispel some of the illusions here, right? We need to dispel some of the illusions because, the majority of actors are not wealthy, right? It's like less than 5% of actors make enough to qualify for health benefits, and that's like $26,000 or something like that. Unless you're one of them ones, it's probably not looking too green for a while, and most people are famous before they're rich anyway. And so, yes, it's happened to me where literally I'm scooping ice cream. Hey, can I take a picture with you? And blah, blah, blah. It happened at work. Same thing, I would go to different jobs. They'd be like, why are you here? Or I've also been rejected from jobs because they said I'd be a distraction. That's happened, and then you get in a loop of not being able to make money, even though people know who you are. It's a big struggle being almost famous, when you're in that in between, not quite there for it to be really profitable, but you're like almost there.
Look at what happened with Jeffrey Wright a few years ago.
Right? I was just about to mention that. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. I'm so happy on how he handled that, and that he was able to literally start working again right after. That's fantastic.
What do you feel like are the biggest misconceptions, though? Because I feel like people are grappling with this two realities of what acting means.
So I think, like I said, it's just about figuring out what the thing is and what your version of success is to you. You know what I mean? Like, and that will tell you what you need to get there also. Like when I would teach actors, the first thing I would teach them in the in the first class is like, what body of water must you cross in order to be happy? You know what I mean? Like if all you need to do is, cross a little pond, then, just get in there and cross the pond. If you want to cross a kiddie pool, okay, now you got to walk. If you want to cross an Olympic-sized pool, you need to know what you're doing now, and you need to know how to swim. You want to cross the ocean, now you need to spend money on a boat. Now are some people who are very lucky, and they will get in a plane, and they'll fly over the ocean, right? And if it's what you want to do, and what you want to do is cross the ocean, don't tell folk that all you want is a pond. Own it, all right? Build that boat or save the money and buy that boat. If you meet someone with a plane, try to get in it, right? But you must be honest and truthful with yourself about where must you go in order for you to be satisfied. You really should be already happy. But satisfied with what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what that was great advice. How would you sum up a quick advice for people that want to go into the industry? If you could put it into like a phrase, if you could, for someone that's new to the industry.
Find the people who are looking for you. Find the people who are looking for you. Someone is looking for you right now. They're just like, oh my gosh, if I could just find Deja. Oh my God. And there's somebody and they're sitting, but you got to find them. Where are they? You know what I mean? Is it an independent filmmaker? Maybe it's not Scorsese. You know what I mean? Maybe it's an independent filmmaker who just has a little idea. Or maybe he's not an independent filmmaker. Maybe most people know him for being funny, but he wants to make a horror movie and it becomes Get Out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that. But you do need to find the people who are looking for you. Like I said, as long as you don't quit, you cannot truly fail. So just don't quit. Keep doing it. Keep finding ways to get across that body of water, so to speak.
And what's next for you?
I think at this point I've transitioned a little bit away from auditioning and more in making my own content and kind of becoming the movie, right? It gets a little tiring kind of waiting on Hollywood to say, yeah, you can be a leading man. So I'm like, yes, I am, because I'm going to write it. So I think that's what's next for me, just starting to create my own content.
And where can people find you?
Oh, yes, of course. You can find me at Jeremiah Craft _. You can find me walking the streets of New York. You can find me wasting people's time with entertainment wherever is possible.
And your socials on IG is Jeremiah Craft,
yeah,
right?
It's going to be just at Jeremiah Craft _ It's Instagram, TikTok, or anything else.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you
I could go on and on.
You already know.
But my floor manager is signaling
me
to wrap it all
look,
up.
I'm
we're
glad
gonna have
to
a part
give a
2.
warning. Yes, we will.
I got some more.
All right.
Listen,
we'll get it done.
We're going to get it done.
All right.
All right. So thank you all so much for joining this episode of Crafted and Creative. Give us a like, comment on iTunes and on YouTube, and I will see you all in the next episode.